So today I wanted to share with you the creation of a very minimalistic aquascape. And this will feature the use of an S-shaped driftwood and a very special betta called Pepsi. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone's doing well and having a great day. So while I was prepping for a new aquascape setup, I stumbled upon a very old video from 2018. This video predates my YouTube channel, so before we jump into any new projects that require a bit of planning, I thought I'd give this aquascape the love that it deserves. As I watched the footage back, I thought this aquascape actually turned out pretty well. The plant choices are simple, but they really support the look I was going for. The soft textures, the slow growth, and a clean open feel that's refreshing to the eyes. I want to take a moment to give you credit where it's due. Back in 2018, I came across Harry Rassio's incredible entry for the AGA 2016 Aquascaping contest, and it was a breathtaking layout called Follow Me. It was dramatic, elegant, and just beautifully composed. I remember staring at it and thinking, I have to try something like this at home, in my own style. And every placement is intentional and every detail was refined. And of course, the bonsai tree itself curves like a gentle hand, almost inviting you to follow along. For this layout, I'm using Fluval SPEC Aquarium kit. It comes with an aquarium with LED lighting and 3-stage filtration system. And this tank is 5 gallon in volume, which is around 19 liters. I picked this tank orientation because of the way I wanted the layout to be enjoyed panoramically from both sides of the tank. And this is not a sponsored video, but I can honestly say that this is a really good all-in-one plug-and-play kind of kit, which is fantastic for beginners and super easy to set up. You can also have it in black or white. You should be able to find this tank on the link in my description below. Design-wise, I wanted to keep this aquascape as simple as possible. No soil, no permanent fixtures, no fast-growing stems that need trimming every weekend. And most importantly, it needed to be the perfect home for my new Betta who was making the long journey all the way from Indonesia. One key thing I had in mind was making the bonsai tree detachable, so I could take it out easily for deep cleaning and replanting whenever I need to. I built the tree using pieces of driftwood, sand, super glue, and anchored with some rocks at the base to form a small cave, and also to weigh the whole thing down. I was really into Marimo moss at the time. I even had one giant one that's a few years old. He's lived by my window for ages, and I couldn't even bring myself to cut him up. And yes, he has a name. So instead, I got smaller Marimo balls for this particular scape. I chose Marimo for their soft texture and the rich green color and slow growth. Same reason why I picked bucephalandras. Another slow grower that's hardy and low maintenance and subtly elegant without needing the CO2 injections. To hide the filter at the back, I used a couple of sheets of plastic mesh and suction cups to build kind of a moss wall that's easy to remove when I need to clean. You can find the mesh at any craft store or use whatever material that works for you, but just be aware that they have to have little holes so that water can circulate and pass through the filter. I split a few Marimo into tufts to soften the base of the wood as well as throughout the entire structure. And I tucked the buce and anubias in to grow naturally, so I didn't use any glue or there's nothing to attach it to. For the substrate, I used white sand for contrast, though it's tricky to keep clean. This is a no CO2 low-tech type of layout, and lighting is set to 7 hours a day. I did 30% water changes weekly, and that's about it. Because the plants are slow growers, they don't outpace nutrients quickly, but they also don't compete much with algae, so balance is key. And once a month, I would take off the moss wall and wash it separately. I would also take out the bonsai tree and wash it separately. Assemble and disassemble. And here's the true superstar of this setup, Pepsi. If you've been around the channel for a while, you'll remember him as the sportiest Betta that I've ever had the pleasure of working with. I like to call him the grandfather of the Betta Olympics. Because, hey, he was the one who started it all. We spent countless hours training in this tank. And looking back, it was such a weird, wonderful, and oddly memorable phase of my life. Thank goodness the tank had a lid because Pepsi was an expert jumper with no sense of personal limits. This whole scape was built with him in mind. Soft moss everywhere for him to rest on, the gentle water flow, a cozy little cave to hide in, and plenty of space to cruise through. I used to have my meals right by this tank and spend many quiet nights just watching him. He was so curious, always engaging with his surrounding, even plants. Truly one of a kind fish. I really miss him. Slow-growing plants like buce and marimo don't absorb excess nutrients quickly, which means algae can creep in fast and especially if you're not consistent. And white sand into the mix and you've got a beautiful but very unforgiving stage. That's the trade-off, I guess. Less trimming, but more water changes and a bit more vigilance. It's not hard to manage, but if you let things slide, green dust and hair algae will show up like an uninvited guest. It may not have the drama or legend status of Follow Me, but I like to think of this as an introverted cousin. Quiet, humble, and still holding its own. In many ways, this scape is a reflection of my mind at the time, seeking calm, simplicity, and just a little space to breathe. So this scape reminds me that you don't need expensive gear or a big tank for you to create something beautiful. Sometimes less really is more if it's done with intention. And that's one of the things that I love about aquascaping. It really reflects on whatever season you're in. And I'm talking about your mindset perhaps. And I did find this really interesting looking back now. And all I wanted to do was have a level of slowing down because work was very stressful at the time. So yeah, I find that really interesting. Whatever that you've designed in your aquascape may have reflected your mindset at the time. So yeah, just remember to always make a diary or video diary of all your aquascaping work so that you can one day look back at it and really enjoy it. Thank you so much for staying until the end of the video. If you're new here, welcome. Please remember to subscribe, hit the like button and the bell to be reminded of my next video. I hope you really have enjoyed this journey with me, and if you have any comments or feedback, please drop it on the comments down below. It would really help my channel grow. Thanks again and see you in the next video. Bye!